Daniel, are you able to share a few details about yourself? Okay. I think we should just move on to the next agenda. So I would like to welcome all of you to the webinar. So the webinar is basically titled My Engineering Journey. So nothing complicated, but let me just introduce the speaker. So speaker is Chelangat. She is a humanitarian engineer in the renewable energy sector. She has a passion in renewable energy for sustainable development of communities through social, economic and environmental empowerment. Mercy Chelangat is also the founder and host of Tech Hub. She is also the IEEE Smart Village Business and Fund Development Director. Moreover, she is also an advocate for inclusion of women's voices in all sectors of energy. So I would like to welcome Mercy to take the floor. Yeah, welcome, Mercy.
Thank you, Beryl, and the alumni team for inviting me. It's an honor to be here to share just what the engineering journey looks like. And so I'll specifically be talking about my experience and just share some aspects that may be common to all of us, and I hope that it will be positive for the team. So yeah, as Beryl has introduced me, currently working with to consult for some IEEE Smart Village projects, and these projects are based in off-grid areas, because IEEE Smart Village aims to empower off-grid communities. And so we realize that in off-grid communities, power is somewhat a new technology to them. So by introducing the power, you also have to introduce other aspects such as education. So you have to train them on how the system operates, how it works, and what kind of enterprises they can take up to ensure that they can at least afford this electricity, and then also the power provider can as well get their revenue, because power systems are high cost and high risk investments that really need collaboration with the community to ensure that there is both social and economic development. So to guide us through, I think I had asked Beryl about what I could speak about, as I was not very enthusiastic about making a presentation. So I thought to have an interactive session, and feel free to share in the chat any questions so that I can also answer them as time goes by. Yeah, so I was in Moi University in between 2012 and 2017 in tech, the engineering school. So I majored in electrical and the power aspect. So life during campus, we didn't really know what was awaiting us out here. But I'm hoping that by me sharing will help enlighten one or two uh, to at least see early enough what career path they want to take. Um, so yeah, during campus, of course, the lecturers teaching, at times we did not feel like going to class, but at times you had to go because, you have to, that was what the outcome had to be in the exam room. And of course, you didn't want to be caught off guard or um, not aware of what the exam was had in store for you. So really, I think we we just took campus campus life easy, and made new friends, and I think collaborated as much. I think my highlights in campus were the times when we had practical sessions such as the workshop trips as well, to different institutions, to different organizations, companies, to see how they operate. And I think I will also just touch on how our classmates have gone into different areas. So you'll realize that the electrical engineering field, or just the general engineering field, is very broad. And you'll find out that after campus, many people will be focusing on different things that you may not be able to understand, but once you get in touch with them is when you'll be able to understand what they are doing. So I think I remember we studied a total of almost 95 units, plus the electives. So really, just an advice is to choose your electives carefully, because some of those determine what you'll be interested in after campus. And so I think the other highlight as well was just those engineering, when outside companies like Kina Safaricom, Kenya Power, and those other organizations were called in to come and advise us about what the career space outside there holds. So those times we just, I think, went there for the refreshments and just to pass time. But really, what they were telling us was very essential, and it really counted towards some of the people in our class getting jobs in those particular companies. So really, networking is very important right while you're from campus. So learn to make the right connections, learn to maximize on those connections, because I think at times we make connections but don't really follow up on them. So you might realize sometimes that you have a very huge contact list. So once in a while, challenge yourself to segment your contact list, see who can help you in what particular area, reach out to them and see how they can be of help. So by networking, you be strategic with what you want, and where you want to be, what you want to achieve. So the other aspect of campus life, I think, is this engineering organizations. Of course, we had TSA, the Technology Students Association. We also had IEEE, but I was not very active. And I think I always give credit to one of our colleagues, Kithinji, who I'm sure most of you know. You know, Kithinji really pressured me into joining IEEE. Back then, I didn't see the essence, but you know, to date, I'm grateful that he introduced me to that because it builds your portfolio even before you leave campus. You know, so try as much to engage in IEEE activities. You know, volunteer in an innovative way. Just target, you know, for example, I could say there was a time I went for an exchange program in Tunisia and I visited some of their student branches. And you'll find that, for example, someone who wants to venture into web development volunteers themselves to learn that skill and then applies it for their student branch or specific organization unit. So you'll find that these skills that you learn count towards what you're going to, how you're going to, you know, determine your next career steps, because you'll find that it's no longer about the papers really. So many people having papers, and it's about the skill that you present that will ensure you get that job. So you'd find that someone who wanted to venture into perhaps you know, digital marketing, search engine optimization, they really take the time to use these organizations as an experimental tool. And in the end, you know, once you have gained this skill, uh, you'll be able to strategically position yourself in a position where the employer can see that this person is capable, and you know, they have been involved in so many activities. So I was speaking to one of the, you know, one of my friends recently, and he was telling me that nowadays companies don't even see, you know, they don't consider themselves, you know, like just other usual companies. They consider themselves technology companies. And so almost everything in the world is being influenced by technology, and engineering is a very key aspect of tech. So by ensuring that you have the relevant skills, then I think you will be placing yourself at a market ready position to ensure that you don't really struggle to get jobs. So yeah, so I remember it was during the symposium, the annual IEEE Kenya symposium, where I went to present my final year project. Yeah, that was a, a smart electric meter. And so I went to present, and I got to be now a part of the Kenya section. And it was, I think it was a really great experience because you got to meet, you know, people such as, you know, the TVET, the current TVET PS. I don't really recall his name, but he's the previous, he's the founder of this engineering firm that teaches people about so the different engineering skills. I'll get back with that name once I remember that. So you find that you will meet very big people in these IEEE events because most of them are just silent members but attend this annual event. So still counts as a networking. So yeah, after campus, of course, once you're done with campus, you find that you may be privileged to get many opportunities waiting for you, and you have to make a decision where to go to. So I think it's important to be careful about what option you select, because it's that will determine, it will influence, what line you want to take. And I think for me, um, we had applied for many opportunities before campus, so try to do that. Try to apply for those opportunities so that at least you have a pool to select from, so that in case you don't really get the one you wanted, at least you have some to keep you busy and occupied, and at least you'll be gaining some skills. So uh, I remember I had an opportunity to go intern with a digital marketing agency, or another one that um, involved research in the renewable energy space, and especially for solar mini grids. So the market was still very fresh, and the policies were still being put in place. So it was a good opportunity to learn about these opportunities that are there in the energy space, especially because we see that with the rise of distributed energy resources, different areas no longer have to rely on the grid, on the national grid. And when you look at the customer base, there are different levels of the customer base. We have, of course, the heavy users, who are the commercial and industrial customers. Those need a consistent supply of power. And so you'll find that besides the grid power, they also want to at least save on their costs. And so they would consider aspects like rooftop solar. So for for the other customer base, which is households, you'll find that the ones that are almost in the urban areas have moderate power needs. So you'll find that they'll partly rely on the grid, and when it's not available, they won't feel so much hurt. Then you will find that there are also those who are really off grid, they don't have power. And I think with the last mile electrification, we see that this bridge is trying to be this gap is trying to be reduced to ensure everyone has access to electricity. So, looking at all those aspects of what possibilities could be there, try to see what aligns with your passions, then follow that way. And I think it's going to lead you where you really expect, because we find that there are many challenges out here, such that if you don't when you are bored in your job, at least there's that passion to keep you going. It really gets challenging at times, such that besides the salary, it's only your passion that is keeping you there, because you are working for a cause that you believe in. So, after campus, it's really challenging. I remember I kept hopping from one company to another, because, having majored in engineering, you expect that you're going to be very technical. But when you get out there, not all jobs are really technical. Like, for example, the one that we had to do research, only had to do desktop research and the field research, but it was not very technical, because all you had to do was conduct feasibility surveys. and that involved interviewing people. So soft skills are also important that you have, so that you can relate with people in a manner that makes them see your potential and can easily incorporate you in their companies. So after doing my research in uh, this company, it was called Industrial Promotion Services. So it was supported by the Aga Khan Fund for Economic Development. They realized that, mini grids are not very viable, and they were looking for, revenue return on investment. And so that project did not really materialize beyond the research stage. And so you see, in such a position, you now have to look for another um, another company or another job opportunity that would at least give you the skills that will position you in the market, to ensure that are in the right place and gaining the skills you need. Because I think really, just besides being paid, you have to also ensure that you, as time is money. So you have to ensure that the time you're having in these companies is fruitful, such that the time you're giving them for the pay, you are also gaining a skill, so that it's not only the organization gaining, but you also gain something from there. So yeah, when I left there, I went to some EPC farm. It's called Ofjan, and I went to learn about really things like solar panel installation, smart metering, rooftop solar for commercial and industrial customers. So, and also uh, energy, in doing energy audits. So those are different, I think, fields that are currently really marketable, especially if you would like to go to the to the electricity space. So you find that when you go to these places, the employer already has a plan for you to undertake. So you will find that you need to ensure that you are also gaining something from this experience. And so it really, it it was a bit challenging for me, and that's why, when Beryl was reading out my bio, there was a point that said, that I advocate for inclusion of women in the energy sector value chains, because the chains is so long. So you'll realize that not many people are technical. So when I went to this company, I was expecting to take part in solar installation project, but yeah, I was denied the opportunity. And so when I asked why, um, the concern was, the team that's going there is only male, and that, that I did not have the strength to lift, solar panels and things like that. So I got really demotivated, because I was like, oh, I did 5 years in school, knowing that, I would be lifting heavy stuff out here. So I believed that um, I was up to the task. It's only that sometimes, opportunities don't present themselves to you as you'd have hoped. So yeah, so I finished my probation. It was 3 months, and then yeah, I think also after campus you can expect to be really under a lot of pressure. um so I I think, not that I'm advising anyone to do this, but um I decided to quit my job, and then I started volunteering for IEEE now full time. But really, what I don't tell people is that I was not only like volunteering, because I was in Nairobi, and Nairobi is really hectic. You have to also have money to to keep yourself going and keep your needs served. So I I quit, and then I think I went back to doing online jobs. I think, most campus students can relate to this because, online jobs, I think they give us that extra income. And to be honest with you, as unemployment is such a key issue, so many of my classmates are also still doing that, and they provide better income than what some employers provide. So you will find that these challenges, they are there, but you have to find ways of overcoming them. So you just ensure, I thought that as a way to build my skills, because at that time the Kenya section did not have um, it did not have like enough publicity. And so I see that, Beryl asking what are some of the benefits you experienced from being an IEEE student member. So um, these are just some of the benefits that I'm starting to mention, because when I had to be the publicity volunteer for the Kenya section, I had to learn things like how to use Facebook. I think I had deactivated my Facebook account. I had to reactivate it because you have to manage pages, have to, so this very small skills that you think are not really important, they count a lot, especially for IEEE, because IEEE would like to see what you're doing on the ground. So don't do things while hiding them. Just be bold, ensure that everyone listens to them, keep sharing, share on all the platforms. And, I really commend the local student branches for the work they are doing, because I think on a global scale, we have gained more visibility. We have seen a lot of innovations, we have seen a lot of recognition. So, these are just some of the aspects that some employers look at. So, for example, they can ask you, if you took part in a humanitarian project, if you would most likely be attractive to an NGO setting. If you worked on something, name it, the innovation that you're just thinking of. A company out there needs that skill, and it's what you're doing right now that will enable them to pinpoint you and see that you have the potential to bring the change that they like to see. So I think there are really many benefits, and um, take advantage of this grants and funding opportunities that IEEE has. I think we are not really doing much locally to do that, but please don't shy away. Take advantage of opportunities like the special interest group on humanitarian technology funding opportunities. They are open, I think, thrice all around the year. So it's these opportunities that, these projects that you undertake that will provide you with a portfolio, and also the skills that can sell you better to an employer. So yeah, I think I have spoken about the third aspect on job expectations. So yeah, the job market out there is that you will have to work mostly with what the employer wants, because of course they're paying you, and to retain your job you have to do so well in that job. So that's why I was saying that may not get the job you want, but just don't take it as a waste of time. Take it as an opportunity to build that skill, because never know, an opportunity, a better opportunity may crop up from there, and you will be advantaged to, because you have that skill and you have experience in that particular area. So yeah, I think I've also spoken on the challenges faced. Really, it's kind of tough, especially as you're trying to find where you fit, because I know, once you have accustomed your mind and told it that, I want to be uh, I want to be a front end developer, I want to be a full stack developer, I want to be an maybe a maintenance engineer, I want to be you know, a PLC, or SCADA engineer. So many opportunities, but if you are not so certain about where you want to be, you may miss out. So yeah, just be on the lookout for the opportunities, and I think that will enable it will enable you to be better placed and advantaged to 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 get a job. Yeah. So I don't know what other aspect can I mention. Yeah, I think just to uh, emphasize on the soft skill. So yeah, I remember when I left campus, I was so very shy. Then engineers, we are considered introverts and nerds. So really, I think there is the beauty of that, because if you have that engineering skill and then you also have the soft skills, you are automatically marketable, because people out here, I was seeing some joke on Twitter that says, in campus you're made to do a 40-page write-up about your paper or something. But then when you go out there to an investor, they only need a one-pager. They ask you to present your proposal in only one page. So you wonder how you have to squeeze all that 40-page info into one page. And I think that's where really the soft skills come in, understanding what people want. And you can only understand this by speaking to them. So, it's through conversation that we are able to learn one another's needs. So in the space, in the job sector, you'll find that different clients need different needs. So for you to be able to serve them better, you need to understand what they want, so that you can tailor your solution to fit their needs. So I think also the other aspect, and this may have noted in the fifth year final year, you have an economics unit, and it's only one unit. Now that does not give you the entrepreneurial skills that you may need. So for example, you will find that in the energy space, in the engineering field, you will find people like, people who have done other courses having a better advantage, because they're able to, project finances, calculate internal rates of return, calculate, I think money and just being able to work with numbers really puts you at an advantageous position, because people would just like to look at the numbers. Like, for example, for my first project after campus, my work project, we were told to go and do a survey in about 20 villages. And yeah, this was personally, I was assigned to Migori County. as the company had some farmers right there. So I had to go all by myself for an entire week plus a few days to go and speak to the people. You have never met them, so you only have to work with the representatives that you have been, connected with, to go and interview farmers, learn their needs, and then come back. So when I came back, of course, I had so much information. I wrote an entire 20-page report. But when it was time to present to the senior most boss, he told us, no, I don't have time to read this 20-page. You have to present this in a spreadsheet and a one-page spreadsheet. So yeah, you're like, okay, yeah, I now have to go back and really think through this, really notice that it's the finances that count. So yeah, take the online courses on entrepreneurship, financial management, business plan writing, even tendering procedures. I forgot to tell you about this. Many companies are, especially startups nowadays, and those are where you may want to go. So familiarize yourself with these tendering procedures. um Tenders are really huge. You can get up to a 200-page tender that you have to fill. So yeah, learn about all those things. Don't really restrict yourself to the engineering field. Learn about the legal aspects. I think some of my classmates who just started startups, in as opposed to being employed, which is also another avenue that, if you're confident, you venture into. You need to now have all these skills, especially when you're starting out and don't have the capital to employ people with expertise on the same. So you may find that, like one of my friends told me that he had come up with such a good idea that someone wanted to buy the entire company. And had it not been for his friends to tell him that, hey, this is risky, would opt to at least do something like a shareholder basis, or just put them, the different kind of partnerships in this field. So someone could come and take you out of business without you really noticing. So by ensuring that you have all these soft skills, entrepreneurial skills, financial management skills, um, presentation, because if you also have to go and pitch an idea to an investor, you really have to be confident, um, dress very well for the job. Yeah, this just reminds me, when we were so used to going to class in kind of sandals and slippers and shorts. And, we thought outside here, yeah, we can just wing it because we are engineers. But on the first day that we went to work, um, we were actually given a day off, and then we were told to go and shop because we were now in the corporate field. We had to look the part. So really, I think you have to position yourself holistically, so that people can see that you are credible and you are really in a good position to deliver the work that have been allocated. So yeah, it's a whole mix of experience. And I think engineering school provides you with the resilience that you need to come and learn. I mean, if if you have done calculus and passed, I don't think anything out here can really prevent you from adapting to what the market needs. So really just being keen and noticing patterns that improve your employability really go a long way to ensure that get the job that you need and with the organization that you're passionate about. Well, you may not really get the one you want, but at least you'll be placed at a position where you can deliver regardless of what company you work for. So yeah, I think really just being alert and keen of what you have studied and see how you can apply that to the market needs is what will ensure that you get to, to to get the ideal career path you see. So yeah, I think, and all of us are unique. Everyone is unique. I really don't want anyone to restrict themselves to a specific career path because another person has done so. Evaluate yourself, go online, check those personality tests, see what is your most outstanding feature, work on that feature. It will also show you what are your weaknesses, then you can learn how to improve them because I think we leave campus when we are a bit timid, but it's the job market out here and the competition that's there that hardens you and really makes you flexible to work in whatever environment you are placed in. So yeah, also don't be afraid to speak. We usually see that, especially in the engineering field, it's other people who speak for us. So being able to speak and defend um, your solution is what will ensure that you're not overtaken by other people, who may be in that department or who just want to take advantage of your contribution. So I also learned that, and it still happens to date, because your manager at times may not see what you do because you usually just when you send an email you copy your immediate supervisor. So yeah, we did learn the hard way, after doing some really heavy work, someone comes and says, oh no, they will just take advantage. They'll no they'll take advantage, and because you're an intern or you're a new employee, they'll take advantage and say, oh yeah, I did this and that was your work. So having all these skills can ensure that you are not taken advantage of by the market. So don't be afraid to copy even the CEO. Copy everyone you feel has a need, especially when you're confident you have done a good job. Ensure that everyone knows that you are doing the work, because when it will be time for the reward, you may be left out because you were hiding and being shying away uh, from the limelight. So don't be afraid, because I think we're all very unique. We have unique talents. We have skills. We have different strengths that can really uplift us out there. So yeah, be brave, be bold, say what you have to say. Of course, yeah, with moderation, because yeah, at times you can lose your job, but yeah, as long as you're on the right track, just be sure to yeah to ensure your voice is heard and that your work is seen by everyone. Yeah, so yeah, I think I'll have to stop there. I've talked too much, but I hope my experience and journey has inspired or helped one or two or yeah yeah, so yeah, I'll hand it over back to you, Beryl, and thank you.
Thank you too. The session has been very insightful, I can say, because there are a lot of nitty-gritty lessons that you've picked up from your journey. Yeah, the one that stood out for me a lot was why you actually had to leave your job because you felt it was not something you needed, and then you started doing online jobs, and again got into IEEE because you just wanted to get something to do, and then afterwards you volunteered for publicity and learned all the skills that you had to learn. So just want to thank you for the presentation and the session. And I also have a question. So how did you transition from being an IEEE professional or an IEEE publicity chair to being the IEEE Smart Village Business Fund Director? Yeah.
Okay. I remember when we were going, so the PES Kenya was set up in 2018, and so the then chair, Engineer Limo, called, invited many people the for a meetup, and so so many people were invited, and so that's why I really advocate for showing up. If you have the opportunity to show up at an event, show up, because you never know what opportunity you may find there. You could find your next employer. So for me, I went to that PES Kenya. It was the first meetup, and then looking at everyone, everyone was of course really professional, because we were in we were in former Schneider CEO's office in Westlands, and I was a bit scared, but looking at the team, I was like, I don't think any of these people is going to take the minutes for the meeting, so let me take them. So yeah, I just started writing, but I was not really taking the minutes. I think I was writing the what needs to be followed up on, so I could follow up on it myself. So when I went there, I automatically it happened to be the time when the meeting where the officials for the PES Kenya were being selected. So automatically they told me, we have seen you taking notes, so please take up the secretary and treasurer position. So I gladly took it up, and I so when it was time for over the engagement, of course, as the secretary, you have to organize events, you have to be the liaison to these events. And so when the IEEE Smart Village co-founder was coming to Kenya to launch the project that is funded, so there's an IEEE Smart Village project funded in Masai Mara, but it's called the MATRA. So when I went there, I organized the event. I'm not sure if any of you was there, but it was at Safari Park. So when after the event, of course, you have to meet different people. So I had a sit down with the Smart Village co-founder, and I just told him about my dreams and ambitions. So it was, of course, in line with the mandate of IEEE Smart Village, which is to empower off-grid communities. So, really at times, even when you want a job in the city, but the city has refused you, you have to just, present what you feel is best at that time so that you can get the job or something or any other opportunity. So when I told him about that, there was no plan to create an internship position for anyone, because I think it was also the first time the entire Kenya section was hearing about that project. No one actually knew about that project. So, an internship position was made available, and since it was a solar powered vocational training hub, I it's something I had always wanted to do. So, I think that's when I came to say it was a matter of chance and also opportunity, just coming at the right time. So, yeah, when I went to project manage that project, and I designed the system, ensured that it was well set up, did the power assessment needs, and also ensured that the surrounding schools and tourist camps, I had surveyed their needs. So once I surveyed those needs, I sent the information um, to them. And the internship was after 6 months, but afterwards, there was also another opportunity, because I think once you do a good job, there's always no one wants to let you go. So yeah, my boss asked me to go and represent IEEE Smart Village during some conferences that were specifically for fund development. So basically for off-grid projects, especially as I was saying earlier, these people are not aware of these needs. And for rural mini grids, you have to tie it with capacity building and empowering the people to see the income generating activities that can come about because of the power that is being provided. So, you have to go and ask people, what kind of business would you want? How can we help? So you also, besides recognizing the opportunity that this community member would like to take part in, also have to ensure that funds are available for them to undertake this project. So have to work with, the business ideas, as well as companies that provide finances, such as some microfinancing companies, to ensure that the community member has access to the funds that they would like to set up their business. And also you have to ensure that they get constant training on this particular skill, because if someone is trying to introduce, say, a solar powered poultry farm, that's a new idea to them. So you have to link them up with those other organizations that provide training and the resources. And also, it doesn't stop there. You also have to ensure that they have access to the market, because once uh, their poultry is ready, they could want a market for chicken, they could want a market for eggs, depending on what that farmer requires. Then you also have to ensure they have a market for their goods, because otherwise, if not, the whole entire thing is going to collapse, because you'll have spent money for nothing. So that's how I came to uh, uh, be a consultant for IEEE Smart Village, because really there is an emphasis on productive uses of electricity, especially in this marginalized communities. So yeah, I think also now, as I was saying, you have to have all these other skills. It's because the engineering field is not like what we have or what we thought previously it was, that it's only technical. Nowadays you have to go out of your way. You know, we see very many customer relation management softwares that are being brought up because people want to collect as much data and information from customers to learn their needs so that they're better able to provide the right solution. So having all these skills better places you at a point where you can work in any field, any company, as long as have those skills in that particular sector. So yeah, uh, that's how I got to do it. Beryl. Hi, Beryl, are you there?
Hello, Mercy.
Hi, hey.
This is Chris. Thank you for that
Mm.
inspiring. So that was very inspiring. We really appreciate you giving us your life story. So my question is, which condition led you to leaving your job and deciding to volunteer full time? Was the environment not conducive, or did you not learn to your dream job, or the pay was not enough? I'd like to know uh, what conditions really led you, or something that you felt it would be really of help to you living and maybe doing the volunteer full time.
Yeah, so um as I said, you know, it's a challenging field out here, especially for ladies, because you have to do double or triple the work for you to get really noticed and prove that you're well qualified for the job. So, you know, for me it was a series of happenings because, you know, if I really did want to learn the technical skills, how to install, how to um, go out there and put the panels, you know, put the inverters, ensure they're in place. Just seeing that process from the design to implementation stage is very critical. So, yeah, for me, it was, I think it was personal and a bit, yeah, since that, you know, after after studying for 5 years in engineering school, there is no way someone can come and tell me out here that I'm not able to carry a solar panel. And that's why I'm not able to take advantage of, and that's why I'm not able to participate in a project. So that really, yeah, turned me off. And I think I lost all the psych that I had for the job. I really think it was, you know, a great job. In fact, I I actually quit my previous job to go and do this job. So because, you know, just doing desktop research is not fun. I think engineers will like field work. So being denied that opportunity is what made me um, find a place that would give me a voice. And so, yeah, I found that within IEEE, and, you know, just interacting with the IEEE members every other time, yeah, gave me that chance. And of course, I started speaking about that experience years later because I was not confident and I was a bit dejected that it had to happen to me. So yeah, I think though you get to learn, and that's why I was telling you guys that, you know, whatever little work you do, ensure everyone relevant in the company sees the work you're doing, so that people don't just think you're there. They see that, you're doing some good work. So it feels nice to be appreciated and really provided with the resource that you need. So, I think some workplaces do not have this culture, but, that's not always the case. There are also companies that really advocate and promote equal opportunities for both men and women. So, yeah, I think I was just unlucky to end up in a company that didn't consider women as a resource. Yeah.
And my final question, can student, IEEE student members still volunteer for IEEE Smart Village? And if they can, what is the process for that?
Yes, yeah. In fact, IEEE Smart Village has been recently, it's been elevated to become an IEEE Foundation signature program. So right now, we are transitioning to a point where we become something like a technical council, like Smart Grid, because they feel like we are able to now uh, take be on our own, really. And because I think there has been a lot of impact. I think the way IEEE works is it provides a new initiative with the resources it needs to scale. And then after scaling, then, it ensures that you have the right resources to also be able to take off on your own. So at this point, we have formed different working groups. There is the Africa working group. There is also the Latin America working group, South Asia working group, North America, and China working group. I think there's also a new one that is the Asian, like the one that has those New Zealand and Australia, those sides that so there are different working groups, and it's now becoming a more global uh, initiative. So what we are going to do next is form student chapters, and it's free. So if you'd like to join us, fill the form. If you'd also like to particularly be in the Africa working group, I think you can send me a message or send Chris a message or Beryl, and then they can forward to me so that I can also share another form. I'm not in a position to get it right now. So I can also share another form that's specific to the Africa Working Group. So currently, they launched a new student branch in the University of Johannesburg, which is the first one to be piloted. So, it really depends on whether the students are interested. And then, we are there to help kickstart. So, yeah, if you fill this form that I have shared on chat, you will be connected to the global team. But if you, would like more customized interaction, then I advise you to, just also, if you're not able to, get to Chris and Beryl, can email me there on my email address, and then I will send you the that information on WhatsApp. I don't know if, I see that. Yeah, so I can send you that information on WhatsApp, and we can add you to that group to take part. I think at the moment we are currently working on a telehealth project with Rotary. So if you're interested in things like telemedicine or telehealth for underserved communities, feel free to get back to me, and uh, I will ensure that you have the right resources. So yeah, I had not seen these questions by Chaitanya. Sorry. Does job become barrier when you become a YP member? Like if we don't get it, how to manage the time, and if we don't know how to work on membership? Yeah, so for this, I think, um, many organizations nowadays, especially when they're hiring, they look at the technical and professional organizations that you're a part of. So and volunteering really does not require a lot of time. You can even dedicate 1 hour in a week to volunteering. So just depending on what you're good at and what would not take so much of your time, you can involve yourself in these activities that you're good at and won't take much of your time. So actually, as opposed to the job becoming a barrier, I would see it as an opportunity to build your expertise and portfolio by volunteering. Yeah, so just managing your time, and really, I think for me, okay, I'm a bit involved in many activities, so it takes more than an hour. But just depending on your specific situation, as I said, we're all unique, and you may not know how much time someone has for a particular task. So give yourself the tasks that you can handle, and really volunteering is all about something as simple as even setting up a Zoom meeting just and sending invites. It still counts as volunteering, or going to retweet a tweet or a post on Facebook, or it's really not very involving. I think the involving part about being a volunteer is when you have to write a grant, to a proposal to solicit a grant from IEEE, and that is where you'll have to put in more information and more time. But really, I think, working as a team really ensures that you don't work in solitude, and leverage every member's skills and strengths to ensure that everything gets done well, because there's really power in teamwork. There's power in teamwork. So for the membership fees, YP, being a young professional, is free for student or for graduate students. So I learned recently that as IEEE understands that you may not be in a position to continue, to transition immediately after school and get a job. So you are provided with a five-year, I think, period when you become a graduate student member, and just pay the normal student member fees. But while you're registering for the IEEE membership, there's a section that all you have to do is to tick to the YP, and it will be checked out as free. So I think that's a hack that you can use while you're out here and really trying to um, to get to get a stable job. Because to be honest, the membership fee for professionals is quite high. 100 over $100, especially because when you become a professional member, the other societies also expect you to pay. So, if you look at PES, you'll be paying $45. If you look at women engineering, you'll have to pay $25. So in the end, you might have to pay something like $160. 16K ni pesa mingi, it's a lot of money. So yeah, and I think IEEE also provides this membership discounts for developing countries. So yeah, I think really ensuring that you just remain a member, even as a student member, can give you an opportunity to still be part of the organization without having to strain yourself financially. Yeah, and I think, Chris, a number of people have asked about how to register for the membership. So perhaps, you as the SB lead can try and organize some sessions specifically for how to show people how to register for IEEE, because so many people have really wanted guidance on how to register online. Yeah, so yeah, I, um yeah, I don't know, it seems like I answered Chaitanya when he or she was not around, but yeah, hope that helps anyone else who was interested. Yeah, and then I think I see another question from Chris here. I'll just be brief as I see time is not on our side. So facing yourself in a situation where you have two opportunities with interest, yeah, to be honest, Chris, I think, nowadays we are heading towards, or I think some of the companies are already there, the gig economy. You don't have to have a restrict yourself to that 8 to 5 job. If there's an opportunity to work on two things at the same times and your situation can allow, the beauty of some jobs nowadays, especially if you're a developer, gives you the chance to work remotely. So yeah, nowadays, yeah, I think at the moment, I'm kind of doing almost, 3 jobs at the same time. It's just like managing 3 projects at a go. So just depending on how you divide your time, ensure that those ones that are needed urgently are delivered on time, and then yeah, you can work your way around it. Yeah, but also ensure not to just overwork yourself. But yeah, then you can also find someone is doing their masters while also juggling those 2 to 3 jobs or even 4. So really, yeah, if they're both really great opportunities, I advise you to take advantage of them, because you never know which one could lead to become like your future. So yeah, I think just it's about managing your time well and planning it wisely. Yeah, and also yeah, make sure make sure not to just get in trouble, because I know like employees can be really strict with time, and given that they're paying you a salary, especially the 8 to 5 ones, they expect to see you every time, and that's so, yeah. While you're in the office, fine, at times you don't really have work and are just surfing the internet. You can just get that time to work on some things. So yeah, it's very possible. Yeah, you just have to be a bit clever on how to handle all at a go. But yeah, yeah, I hope I have answered. Oh, this was from Ben. Ben, I hope I have answered your question.
Yeah, it's fine. It's fine. It's fine. Thanks.
Oh, okay.
So thanks a lot, Sam. We really look forward to inviting you to another session. No question.
Thank you. Yeah.
Yeah, thank you very much, Mercy. I'll say this was an honor having you speak to us. That was a very inspiring topic from you. Say you have really mentored some of us. We look upon to one day achieving what you have. Yeah, I hope you are still following the footsteps that you left behind. Having come from Moi University, we are really happy for you. I see Betty is trying to close the meeting. She is facing some issues from her side. So once again, I want to say thank you very much. My name is Chris Morimi. I'm the chair. Betty is the WIE chair from Moi University. I would thank you very much all those that attended the meeting. It's an honor attending and supporting us through the webinars that we do host as a student branch, and we look for more interactive sessions with all of you. Yeah, thank you very much and have a great night. You can maybe leave at your own pressure. Thank you very much, Marcy. Thank you very much to everyone who attended.
Thank you, Chris, and all of you. Yeah, I'm wishing you well.
Oh, sorry, just before you guys can go,